Okay, so this is how the website is going to look like. The name here, then we'll have the links here, and then it's going to be a hero page here, which will take your name or my name. So that's the person that is the diary is going to be about, or we can say my diary, my history, whatever we like. So let's just say we're calling it my diary. Okay, so inside the diary we will now create different things that we are doing daily. Is that okay? So like this. Anyway, so after this, then we will now have a box again. We'll have another box. Then inside this box we'll have a text that say who you are, and then we'll have a text that say who you are, and then your image here. Okay, your image will be here. So here we are going to discuss about you. Okay, so it tell us something little about you to get to know you. Then after this, then we'll now have another one. So we will now have we have another box which will be for the main page. Okay, so inside this main page is where you are going to discuss your daily tasks. So at the top it will be HTML, because that's what we started with. So everything we are going to be learning, I want you to know that this website will be live, that you will use the link at the end of the class. So please pay attention. Okay, all right. So here we will now have the heading. Okay, we'll have a heading here inside the box, and then a paragraph. So inside the paragraph you now describe anything else about what you have learned. Let's say HTML, what is HTML, and all other tags and that we have discussed. So today we are going to start by building. So today we can start by building all of this. All right. Okay. Now with that being said, did you understand what I just said now? Okay. All right. Now, so and then we'll now be having each one of our details. We'll now be adding them. So the day we learn JavaScript, we will now add what you learn on JavaScript. The day we learn in CSS, you now add what you learn in CSS, variable, data type, and every other thing. All right. And yeah, so that is how it's going to be. Is that okay? So now let's now fire up our. You are recording, right? Okay, awesome. Because at the end of the day, if you see that you are not recording, okay. All right. Okay. All right. So let's build. So I will be going back to this any moment. So any moment we are doing, I'll going back. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to have this main page. Just pay attention to how we are going to structure everything, okay? And then you also pay attention, okay? So here the first thing is to have this first container, okay? We first need to have this first container. So for us to have that first container, let's clear everything. Okay, let's clear everything like this. Now inside the body, we're now going to create the main container. So I'll now call it div. Now the div is what is a container. I'm coming. So here now you can title it anything. Okay, my learning journey. So you can say my learning journey. And then inside this body you have a div. Now this div is not a self-closing tag, so you need to close it. So let's close it. We say div like this. No, so like this we say div, and then we close it. Okay, now when we close it like this, so inside here we are going to have, now that we now have the container. So remember what I told you before, we'll have a container like this. So we now have a container now, which is the div we just created. So now the next one is this nav bar. We need to create a nav bar. Okay, so we have a navigation bar like this. All right, so let's go and create a navigation bar. So here in the navigation bar, we can now create it. So we can now say the nav bar can be inside the container, so we can put it in a div of navigation. So we call the nav tag. Okay, now inside the nav bar we want to have image on the right and what and our links on the left. Okay, so we can do something like this. Okay, so we can say so because we can section them, we can hide the image in a div. Okay, like this. Can put the image in a div and say call the image tag. What is this now? Can you see the screen? Can you see this text Smith Camtasia? Can you see it? Hello? Can you see this text Smith? Can you see this text Smith? Are you seeing this text Smith? Okay. So we can create an image tag. Okay, so we call this image tag. Now whenever the image is a self-closing tag. Okay, so it's a self-closing tag, and because it's a self-closing tag, you need to close it like this. So this is how you do a self-closing tag. Okay, now one of the things we need to specify here inside this image tag, we can define the class. Okay, there are three ways of giving of styling. When we come to that, I'll explain that, but then we can start the image directly here. We can also specify where we are getting our image for. So let's say for you to get our image, we'll now do source. Okay, src, then we specify the directory we want it from. Okay, so if for example we have our folder here, for example this is our folder, let me go and drag any and I add the image. Okay, so it should be inside the theme like this. Okay, so I've added an image, so let's rename this image to be jjj. Okay, I'll just call it jjj. Right now, if I come here now, I now want to specify it in this source folder. Okay, I can now do source, and then I'll do the directory where it is. So I'll do dot and specify. So you can see that it's now seeing all of the files that are inside this directory, this folder. If I have another folder created for image, I can also specify. So here I can just choose it like this. Okay, and then now when we now go live, the image should be there. Okay, let's go live and let's see. So it's already open. Okay, so and then which shape, which arrow space, which one is that, which arrow shape? Oh, okay. Yes, that's formatting that I was. It's called formatting. It's called formatting. So look at it this way. So I can still do it. Okay, all I need is just let me delete it. So this is the div, right? So when you hit enter, it should start from here. So what the next thing you should do is to call nav. Okay, like this, then call div. Then you close it. Okay, like this. Then you call image. Then you call image. Okay, image like this, image tag. Then you say source. Okay, and then you specify the image you want to use, and then you close it like this. Is that clear? Do you get? All right, so this is how to create. So we have now created an image, so we can when we come to classes and all of that. So but then since we are doing it together, let me begin to. So here we can give it a class name. Okay, this is not the time to do this. I'll explain it when we get to CSS. All right, because I need to explain some things. So let's just build the structure. So this image will be on the left hand side. Now the next thing we need to build is the icon, our link. So we can wrap it in in a div, or we can choose not to wrap it in a div. But if we are going to move it about, we can wrap it in a div. So I can do div like this, okay, and then I can now say a link. So I'll call the other link. So I'll call the other link tag. Did you learn anything on the other link? Eh? Okay, what okay, okay, okay. So if we now call the ul, okay, and then we call the li element, okay, like this. Okay, here we can now say we should have an about page. Oh god. Okay, so we want to have an about. Okay, so we have about me. Okay, about me. Then we can also have another one that says my CV. You can say li my CV. Okay, then we can do li about me, my CV. What else? About me, my CV. What else can we add? Anyway, so you can add as many lists as you want depending on whatever you are building. Okay, it can be about your business, about your services. We can say services. Okay, that is if you are a business person. Okay, and this is how it will be. Okay, so this is how these tags work. All right, now that we now have the header, so we go back to our website. We have design again. Okay, so if we go back to our design and we click here, so we have been able to achieve this first one. We have a div and we have the image here in a div, and then we have our links in a div. Are you following what I'm doing? Are you following? Okay, then we now have my diary. So the next one we are going to create now is my diary, a kind of a hero page. Okay, so it's going to be my diary. Okay, so this my diary is what we are going to build next. So when we now come here, okay, now inside, remember this is the main tag. Okay, so we will now call we call section. So now under the nav we can have a section. We can use section for this. Okay, we can use section. Did you find out about section? You, depending on whatever you want to build, okay, so you can find out how section work. Okay, then so all right, no problem. So we can use a header here. Okay, so we will use header here. So this header is the one that introduce the website. All right, so inside this header we are going to have one paragraph or a h1. Okay, so we're going to have a h1 tag. Since now any website you are building, either for businesses, the h1 must repeated once. Do you hear me? You must repeat the h1 once. Okay, and you should not repeat it anywhere else. Any other one that we are going to build now, we cannot use h1. So that this is the introductory. This is what introduces everybody to the website. So we can say h1 here. Okay, and then we can say my diary. Okay, or my learning diary, whatever. Okay, but I'm going to say my learning diary. All right, like this. Okay, so now let's go back to our website and let's see what is being displayed. Okay, what have we not seen? It's still loading. Okay, maybe because we are adding, or let me stop it and run it again. Let's go live again. Okay, so you can look at what I was saying the last time. Look at this title. Are you seeing this my learning journey here? Are you seeing this my learning journey? All right, so that is the title we're saying. So any website that has a title should have this thing. All right, okay, so this is our image. You can see that the image is big now with no style, and this is the link that we have created, about me, my CV, services, and then you can see my learning diary, which is the introductory of our, you can see that is bold, okay, and the reason is we are using header and we are also using h1. All right, so when we are styling, we will style them properly. Okay, is that okay? All right, now that we have done that, so now that we've now have the introductory, let's go back to our design. So that is why the role of a designer cannot be overemphasized in any word, in any development. So be it website, be it software, whatever you are building, is a designer must play a critical role, because this is the person that designed how the website will look like. So we are now coming back here now to now see, okay, how should our place be like? Okay, how should our website look like? So we are now going to create this particular space. Now this is the one we are going to build next. All right, so we are now going to build this header, this introductory word page. Okay, are you with me? All right, so now the first thing is there's going to be a paragraph here, and there's going to be text here. There's going to be a header, a head tag here, and then there's going to be paragraph here. Okay, then there's going to be image here. Okay, all right, so let's go and build it. So here you can use anything, okay, but I'll use div. All right, at this basic level we'll use a div. So all of what I'm showing here is just basic. Okay, now there are some people or some places you go that they have a structured way you should write your code. They have a way you should structure each item. They have a specific tag they want you to use, the specific font, and the specific font, the specific letters, font size that they are going to specify for you depending on what you are building. So here now, I say now div. All right, so we can now call div. Okay, so remember that we are still under this. All right, so we can wrap this in a div also, so that we can be able to control it. Okay, remember that everything is still under this nav. Okay, so after nav we now have header. Okay, we can specify, but you can still wrap it in a div if you want to control and manipulate it. Okay, but then it's okay like this. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is we are going to create a div. Okay, I can create a div, or I can use section because I want to group. So you use section when you want to group different things together. Okay, like this. Now we want to have image on the right, we want to have text, so I can do something like that, but then I can also use a div. So let's go with div. Okay, like I said, it's just a basic, so we can say div. Okay, like this. Now inside this div, on the left we will have h1 abi, so we will now have a div that handle that. Okay, we can say div. Okay, div like this. Okay, and then inside that div we will have, remember we'll come back and give it a style. We'll give it a class name for styling. Okay, so here we can say heading, so we can say h2. Remember we said that we're not going to use h1 again, so what should it be about? We can say get to know me. We can say get to know me like this. Now and then under it we now have a paragraph. Okay, we now say we now call the p tag, and then write everything we want to know about. We want people to know about us. I am this, I am abc this. I'm using whatever you want to write about yourself. Okay, you can write it. All right, like this. So let's go back to our site and let's see what is happening there. So if we go back to the site that we're building, okay, it's loading. So any update, the reason why you are using live server is any update you make automatically is being updated. All right, so it's still loading. Okay, so you can see, so get to know me, you can see they are not of the same size. This is h1 and this is what, h2. Okay, and then we have a text. So when we are doing it, we'll now structure it. So we'll now have what that aspect. Now the next one we are going to do is we are going to have another div. Okay, we are going to have another div that is going to hold the image. So we'll call the image tag, call the img, okay, and then we'll call the src, and then we specify the image. So let's still use our former image. Then we can also what close the tag. Okay, so remember, like I said, the image is a self-closing tag. Okay, so when we are building it, when we are now styling them, we'll now structure it. So this will be on the left, this will be on the right. We can also style it that this will be on the right and this will also be on the left. But for now, this is how the structure, that is how the website structure is going to be. Do you get now? Do you understand? Yeah, all right. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Now, please, this thing I'm doing, what you are seeing, this code you are seeing, I want to see your own, just in case you be thinking I'm just talking. At the end of the day, you are going to push this code. You are going to follow me step by step and push your code. I want to see the live code and it's working the way we style it. Okay, so you have a work to do. So I need your maximum concentration and maximum what cooperation. Okay, so here, so I hope you understand what I just said. Okay, all right, so now we now have our structure. So let's now go back to our design. Let's go back to our design like this, and then so we now have we have declared the introductory. Okay, so and this is the header. Okay, now the next one that we are going to do now is what we are learning. So remember, we are building a diary website. Okay, we are building a diary website. So what we need to do now is now specify this one. Okay, so yes, in the last class, what did we learn? What did we learn in the last class? Okay, you see what you are telling me? You are going to write it. Okay, so but how do you do that? So that is when we now call the main tag. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is we are going to call the main tag, and inside the main tag we'll now specify. So here I will now call the main tag. So remember, this is our main here. Okay, container. Okay, so inside it we are going to create our main tag, right? So let's go. So call the main tag. So the main tag is used, so say main. Okay, so the main tag is used to represent the main content of the website. All right, so like this, it's not a self-closing tag. So inside this main now is where we are going to house all our all our website, all our learning, all our daily learning. So now the first one we are going to have is, how did we structure it? Let's go back to our design. So if we go back to our design, here we now have what? We now have the header. Okay, we now have the head tag, either h1 h3. It's going to be h3, and then we have a paragraph that describes what we are learning. Okay, so that's what we are just going to be doing. Okay, so how do we do that? So we now have what? A div. Okay, so we have a div. Okay, I'll create div like this. Okay, and then I'll close the div. Okay, now inside this div we will now have the h3. So we'll create the h3. Now what's the title? You said we learn about what? Or introductory to HTML. So I'll call it introductory to what? HTML. All right, then after doing this, then you can now say, okay, yeah, you now have a paragraph. You now explain what we learn about HTML. So in this, so what we learn, that introduction to HTML, you are going to write everything you learn and what you understand. Okay, are you with me? So this is going to be a kind of, at the end of the day, this is what you were able to learn and build. Okay, all right. So so anybody that see it, anybody that see it will be able to what, to see that okay, you did a good job. Okay, all right. Now, yeah, now, so you are going to learn that you are going to write everything you learn. So you say I learned, okay, I learned how to create, okay, how to set up, or I learned how to set up oh, I learned how, yeah, I learned how to get started with HTML and what, and CSS. Okay, I'll to get started with HTML. I learned okay, escape. So say I learned okay, so that's what you are going to write. So every class that we hold, you are going to write a new one inside this main. You must update this main every class that we had, we will be having. Is that clear? Okay, so let me go back again. Here you have a div which is for the main, okay, and we said that it can be used with the class. You can have your class here, you can have the language you are using, you can have whatever, okay, you can have the language, specify the language you are using, English, okay, like this. Okay, you can also specify so many things. Okay, the class of this, okay, we can call it main. Okay, and then we can also style it directly from here. We can style our project directly from here. Okay, we can say we can say color. The color of the text should be blue, for example. Okay, and once we do that and we go to our website, it should be updated. It's running. Okay, so inside there we can specify what exactly we want and how we want the website to appear. All right, okay, so you can see that everything here is now blue. Okay, look at it, it's now blue. Okay, yes, like this, you see. Okay, so we can also change it. Okay, so why? Because of this color that we, so you can style directly from there. We call it inline CSS. When we get to that, we do that. So the tags can allow you to do so many things that you want to do to manipulate your what, your HTML. So HTML, like I said, is just a structure of the website. Every website you see has a structure, how it was designed, the intention, who is even designed for, is part of what you consider when you are what, when you are setting up your HTML. All right, because there are people with blindness, with impairment. Okay, so and when you are designing for these people, you need to consider them. You can't use a bright color for people that have eye problem. Do you know that? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Oh God. Okay, so you can't design for people that have impairment with a bright color. The same thing, that is why you must have an alternative. Okay, all right, that's why you must have an alternative in your project. Okay, in whatever you're building, so you should have an alternative text. Okay, where you whatever, like this image, I should have an alternative. Okay, like this, where I will need to explain. Okay, I will need to explain what the image is about. That way a blind person who is accessing the website will be able to know that this is a picture of what? A picture of me. Okay, and I can give it a name of whatever I want. All right, now the same thing with the same thing with all of this tag here. Okay, now look at where I am writing the style. Remember, I am not writing the style inside the closing tag. Okay, so every style that you have must be in the opening tag. Every style that you have must be in the opening tag. It must not be inside the closing tag. Do you get that? Okay, then we have then we now talk about the LUL. Okay, we say that it represents a list of items. So any item we want to represent in our project, in our application, in our website, we use the word the ordered list. Okay, so we can use it like this. Then we can also have the li. Okay, so now this is not the only this is not the only one we have. This is an ordered list. On ordered list we can also have ordered list. Okay, we can have ordered list like this. Okay, which means it's going to be numbered, and when we go to our website, it's running. Okay, and when we go, it's going to have what? Numbers. All right, like this. So you can see it's carrying number 1 2 3. Okay, so this is how it works. All right, so it's you anything you have here. So the li is a shout of your ol or ul on ordered list or ordered list. Okay, so you can change it back because we don't need numbers. Okay, you can say ul. All right, all right, so then we can also use it. We can also use like I said, the li is what? Is a child element to either ordered list or unordered list. Okay, and then when you use ordered list, it's not going to display, it's going to be dot. But when you use on when you use on ordered list, it will appear this way. When you use ordered list, it's going to show you 1 2 3. All right, then I've explained the navigation bar. Okay, so it's a section of page that what links to other pages of the website. All right, so and then we are wrapping everything inside the nav bar. Okay, we can choose to remove the nav. Okay, I mean the div inside the nav, so that we can control it. Okay, but then I just want you to know that it is possible to move everything about. Okay, we can even choose to not have the div inside like this. We can choose to have the div wrapped around what? Around the nav bar. Okay, that way we can move it anywhere we want. Okay, is that point clear? All right, now okay, so what I did is I went to the folder I created. Okay, so if you want to add an image, go to your directory. Okay, so like this, the file folder is here. Okay, I can say file folder. Okay, so it takes me to desktop, and then I now look for your folder like this. Okay, I look for your folder, and inside your folder I have another folder. I open that folder, and then inside that folder I added the image. So you can copy an image and paste here. Okay, and then rename that image. So any image that you are going to use in your project, any image you are going to, yes, so any image you are going to use in your project must not carry numbers and hyphen. So I cannot say let's say I now want to rename this image now, and I say jj hyphen j4 t hyphen like the proper name, okay, to your image. Okay, now you see what I've done so far. I want you to share your screen and do it the same. Let me see. Open your project and share your screen. Let me see. So let me stop sharing.